Hi, and welcome to the Underground e-commerce podcast. My name's Ty, and I run the social media here at Underground. Today, we've got a special guest. We've got James Matthewman, the founder of the company. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Awesome. Yeah. Cheers, Tyler. To tell you guys a little bit about Underground Ecom, it is an e-commerce specific email marketing agency. So what we do is we work with e-commerce brands around the world, really, a lot in the UK, in US, Canada, Australia, to really help them maximize the revenue opportunity and the engagement opportunity of email marketing and of the email marketing channel. And yeah, the company's been around for about 2 years now. As Tyler said, I'm the founder here, and Tyler has recently come on to head up the social media here at Underground Ecom. But as you may know, we are also good friends. We've known each other since school, and yeah, we've got a long history together.
Yeah, well, I obviously know about what you've done, but like, just let the people know about your education background, like your A levels and what you did at uni.
Sure, sure. Um, both me and Tyler went to Pangbourne College. A levels. What did I do? I did classics, economics, physics. I then went on to do accounting and finance at Birmingham University, but not for very long. In the first year of university is really when I discovered e-commerce in general and opportunities of being involved in that, and really working from remote base and starting an agency like Underground Ecom. It's also where I sort of found out about the channel email marketing and how it can be used in e-commerce to generate revenue and to build a powerful sort of base of customers. So really throughout my first year at university, not that many people knew that, that's kind of when I was sort of, I guess, dabbling in e-commerce, learning
Of
about
course.
it, learning about the whole world of e-commerce and all the different things that come with it. And it's really where I took my first step into email marketing and working with e-commerce brands to help them with their email marketing.
Sure, nice. So you mentioned that you discovered email marketing early on at uni, but like, what were your initial thoughts about it? Like, did you instantly see a business opportunity?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question. I think the first thing was really e-commerce. And for all of you that don't know, over the last couple of years, e-commerce has been a massively booming sector. With the founding of companies like Shopify, ClickFunnels, etc.,
Yeah,
and
of
Amazon, of
course.
course. It's been a huge growing business. And so when I was looking into online business and online opportunities, e-commerce was the first thing that came up. But what I quickly found after joining e-commerce groups, listening to them, etc., that Facebook advertising was one really important part, and it was how you acquire your customers. But email marketing and channels like SMS and messenger marketing were really, really important for retaining those customers. And I also found that not a lot of people knew much about these channels. I saw a lot of people asking questions about email marketing, how to do it, who could help them, and there weren't a lot of people really serving this huge growing base of e-commerce stores from the email marketing perspective. So that's really when I started looking into it, looking into the power of it. And when I started deep diving into the actual results, you can get from email marketing for your business and how it can make up such a substantial part of your business's revenue. That's really when I sort of got interested in it, started researching it, teaching myself everything you needed to know about it, and really building up my knowledge in that space.
Sure, I find it interesting how you taught yourself rather than maybe starting out with a company or just like looking for any small startups for e-marketing.
Yeah.
Like, how come you decided to set up your own company rather than maybe looking for experience for someone for a couple of months and then maybe somewhere else and then deciding to do your own thing? Like, why did you jump straight into it?
But I think that's obviously a great question. Obviously having been through, normal formal education, you know, what I found, I think what most people are finding is there's so much information online for free. So, YouTube, Google, Facebook, all those things, there was so much information on this topic that I really didn't need formal education. I could learn so much there. And then to be honest, as most people probably know, when you're starting a new business, the best way is to learn is to do. So the first thing I did was try to get clients, even if I was doing it for completely free. I offered my services out for free to e-commerce stores, so that I could work with them, learn at the same time. And that's really how I got my start and how I got positive referrals and how I started gaining sort of attention in the space, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I obviously have no previous experience of gaining clients, but I've read a few things, and they say you shouldn't always offer your services for free, because it's then hard to it's hard to what's the word like how did you value your services once you'd
So
been
start
working for
charging.
free? Like, yeah, like, but how, yeah, saying that, like, how did you decide to
Yeah.
set a price when you'd been working for free before?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's not just the free to price, because, once you set a price, then you don't want to stay at that price necessarily. At Underground Ecom, I'll be honest, our fees for our services have gone up, and that's because the service we offer has gone up in value. And what we're able to do for our clients has improved over the years. And so that really justifies a higher fee. So you're always going to run into that issue. But really, for me, I knew the first couple of clients I may never be able to charge, but I just needed to learn, and I needed to get in there, and I needed to get the experience, I needed to learn by doing. So that's kind of how I took the plunge. I did actually manage to convert some of those services into paying clients. The way I did that is, when I offered my services for free, I didn't offer them for an unlimited time. I offered a 30-day free trial. And then at the end of that, I sat down with them, and for the ones that had a great ROI, had generated a lot of money from email, had seen great engagement, seen great list growth, I could really justify starting to charge for that service and that continued service for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's nice. So yeah, who was actually your first client when you started this all out, and was it successful? Like, were you nervous to deliver the service, having not done it before? And you would obviously have to promise them that you'd deliver a good ROI, but yeah, you were just starting out. Like, how was it?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So that was a long time ago now, but the first client was a small fashion brand. If I can, be completely honest, I think it was probably a drop ship business. I can't even remember the name of them now. I think it was over 4 years ago. But yeah, that was a great first practice for me. They were generating a couple $1,000s a month in revenue. They had a small list. And yeah, even within the first 30 days of working with them, I was able to generate them revenue. I can't remember exactly how much, but I remember that there was revenue generated, and that I was able to justify charging a fee for the second 30 days working with them. So I was able to convert my very first client into a paying client after 30 days.
Mate, that's unreal. Yeah, so from that first client to now, how have you scaled up? Because obviously
Yeah,
you're
it's a
now
great
what you first,
question.
yeah, first you're a one man team, and now you've got
Yeah.
quite the troop, and you've got quite the posse.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a great question. You just started with just myself. There's now over 40 people working here at Underground Ecom, including Tyler. We serve over 60 e-commerce brands around the world, and I think we worked with, in some form or another, over 100 e-commerce brands across 2020. So yeah, it's been a huge amount of growth over the last couple of years. And yeah, it's come from a couple of different areas. The first was, forming a strong business partner, who's not on the call today, but that's Jamie. So he was actually at university with me. We were living together. I started the business sort of once it really started going. I gave him the opportunity to join with me. He also left university, and that was really how we were thrown into the deep end of making this business work and making this happen. The second thing was building a really strong reputation, so delivering great results for clients, who then went on to refer me to other clients in the space. I've worked with some very big clients who then, linked me up with mentorship groups, masterminds, etc. And that's how, by building a really strong reputation for consistently delivering strong results, I was able to grow my client base. And then the team side is really about working out to scale, what you need, what your team needs to continually deliver fantastic results and even better results for your clients. So I think one of the first people we hired had very strong design skills, because that was an area of email marketing that I was lacking in. And so there's always this worry that when you start hiring team members, your service is going to get worse because it's not you delivering it. But if you hire, strong team members in the fields that you're not experienced in, and you accompany that with a really strong training system in the fields that you are experienced in, your service gets multitudes better. And I even laugh now when I look at the service we're delivering for our clients and our team is delivering for our clients. I know that there's no way I could ever do that as a one-man band. There's no way the service I was delivering 2 or 3 years ago could even compare to what we're delivering now. The quality, the efficiency, the way we're working with our clients, and really just the results we're getting for them. But yeah, that's a little bit of the background on how, obviously a lot more goes into it, but that's a little bit about, I guess, some of the key things that went into growing the company.
Yeah, it's always hard to let go because it's like your baby almost. But
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to hire people around you
Yeah,
that are better at certain parts than you are, and you've got to admit that yourself. And I think that's the good thing about, that's what a good business owner acknowledges, that you can't do everything forever and scale up efficiently and well and deliver the great results that you initially did. What did
absolutely.
you?
And you got to. Oh, sorry, just quickly. I think another big thing is you really got to trust the people you work with and hire trustworthy people. I know, with working with Jamie, we can really trust each other for the areas of the business that we're looking after. And we've got a fantastic management team at Underground Ecom now who can, really trust each other for the areas of the business that they're looking after. And that, allows your company to scale because you can really focus on the things you're good at, whilst knowing that the company is being looked after in the areas that you're not in charge of or directly in charge of.
No, that's always important. I was going to ask, did you find it easy to find these people? Like, did you reach out to them? How did you secure such hardworking people for your company that you could entrust in running it, essentially?
Yeah, that's a good question. It was hard, and we've definitely been through team members who have come and gone and not been a good fit for the company. I mean, we offer a fantastic opportunity in a remote based company, so it's quite a desirable place to work. And so getting the initial interviews with prospects to work for us, it wasn't that hard, really. The standard channels of LinkedIn, Upwork, Facebook, all different areas where you can find really high quality team members to sort of join the team. So finding the initial people wasn't that hard, but what is important is interviewing them, and interview process you take them through, and also the alignment. So looking for people who share your vision and your goals and your way of doing things. Both me and Jamie are very hungry for growth, and we have a very get it done attitude. Boots on the ground. Doing things yourself, getting stuck in, and that's what we look for in the people we hire. Obviously, intelligence, education, all that's great, but you've got to have some gut about you and be willing to get stuck in. And that's, I guess, one of the key things we look for when we're hiring is people who are obsessed with the results for what they're particularly doing and are willing to get really stuck in to make sure that those results are achieved.
Yeah, if you've got a team of winners around you, you're going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Winners win, mate. Winners win.
They do, mate. That's why I hired you. That's why I hired you.
Word. Social media from 0 to 130 days. I know that obviously it can't be easy for me to start from a one-man business to this big company you have now. So is there any setbacks where maybe the future of your company was in question and you had to show some resilience, and like what did you do to resolve this, and what have you taken from it?
Yeah, there has been, I think, a couple of ones. For example, I think once we were at sort of the 15, 20 client stage, something like that, we got really obsessed with the scaling of the company and the scaling of the operations and how we were going to maintain quality while scaling. And so we started building all these systems and these plans on how to grow the business, and how at 50 clients, at 100 clients, 150 clients, we'll still be able to maintain the quality and the results. and deliver, fantastic results for all of our clients and have a really strong, happy base. So we got obsessed with perfection and achieving that across the entire client base and achieving that across the growing business. And we kind of forgot about the cause of getting new clients, focusing on the pipeline, focusing on the growth of the business. And so while we were obsessing with that, we didn't really make much progress. So sort of 6 months down the line, we didn't really bring on that many new clients. And we really hadn't hit any of the growth goals. And we were a little bit, it was quite a tough time. We'd both left university. We were both really focused on making this happen. We had all these dreams and these systems to grow the business, but it wasn't growing. So, that was about a year and a half ago. And so what we did is we sat there and said, okay, we've looked at that, but things are always changing. So you can't plan and predict the future and the growth of the business. All you can do is focus on the growth right now, and you can focus on doing the things right now that are going to bring a new client tomorrow, bring a new client the next day, keep the clients you already have and keep the business growing, bring in the new employees. And so we went from sort of a 30,000 foot view to this granular, let's get really stuck into the things we know we can do well and that will grow the business. And then when we hit those growth goals and we need to work things out, we'll sit down and we'll work them out. And that shift in mentality was a big factor to our growth and allowing us to grow, because we just focused on doing the things that were really important. And it's funny because we're doing a podcast now, but that's a great example of something that I think business owners get lost in. They try and do everything. They try and have a fantastic Instagram account, do tons of podcasts, have tons of PR, but they don't just focus on the key areas of the business. We focused on getting new clients and keeping our clients and getting fantastic results. We focused on 3 things, and that's all we focused on for a good 6 to 8 months until we had to really sit down and look at the business and say, okay, what do we need to do next? And then, you review that. But by focusing on just a few key goals and measuring them every week, how many new clients came, what results were we able to achieve, just looking at those key goals again and again and again, that's what led to the growth that we've got now.
Yeah, it's always important to keep the top of the funnel full, because you can easily get lost in the things you said as the system. So you've always got to keep the client base up. And
yeah,
I do see a lot of people just starting podcasts and having these Instagrams where they post inspirational quotes, and then a year later they've just got around a page with 1,000 followers, but with no business to back it up, because they've just been they've been doing it all in the front scene, acting like they're killing it, but really behind the scenes they're not keeping on top of it. And I think what you've done is more important, where you scaled up your business. You're now settled. Obviously you want to grow larger, but you're at a point where you can now look at other avenues of growth and focus on your brand image, which I wouldn't say is always the most important thing for some of these companies. You really gotta be sustainable before you can look at other avenues.
Yeah, you gotta stuck into what puts money in the bank and what grows the business. Especially in the agency game, there's 2 things that let you down: bad results, so bad client experience, and not knowing how to get new clients. If you can deliver a fantastic service and a fantastic experience, and how to get new clients, you'll always be able to put bread on the table. And the other stuff is, the other stuff might help you become an enormous company, but you're always going to be able to grow with those core principles. So being fantastic at both of those, getting new clients and servicing your existing ones, really is the key fundamentals.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Obviously 2020 was tough for a lot of businesses. Many had to adapt to the changing environment, but for a lot of companies that were working remotely, they've seen no change, and some have seen obviously greater success. What was 2020 like for you? And are you looking forward to what 2021 has installed, and are we expecting big things from you?
Yeah, so obviously 2020 was quite a turbulent year for a lot of people, and it had its moments for us as well. And when COVID first hit in April, there was some nerves. A lot of clients got cold feet. A lot of potential clients got worried. They didn't know what was going to happen. Luckily for our sector, and not true for a lot, but luckily for our sector, e-commerce has actually grown a lot in 2020, and email marketing for e-commerce has grown a lot. It's been a huge growth. And with, for example, Klaviyo, which is the email marketing software that our company works on, they doubled their user base in 2020, and they've been around for 5 years. So, it was a huge growth. And so that has led to a huge growth, or at least supported some of the growth here at Underground Ecom. So it has been overall, it's been a very, very successful year for us, and a big growth year. Not all down to, definitely not all down to, COVID and the climate, but that hasn't negatively affected us at all, really. And it's why this sector is going to keep growing and people are flocking to it. Retail's closing, e-commerce is becoming, such a big sector. And so is remote work. From an employment perspective, we've been able to hire some really fantastic top talent because, now people are more interested in getting remote-based jobs because they're more secure. So from an employment perspective, we've been able to secure some fantastic talent off the back of that as well.
Yeah, coming off the back of that about hiring people, in regards to your company, what sets you apart from your competitors? Is it your service or your team? Let me know.
Yeah, so a couple of things. I think our team and our core is really, really key. So if you don't have good management and a good leadership team, that trickle down effect is going to come across the entire company. And so if you're not really tight knit at the top and you don't have a very unified goal at the top, that is not going to, effectively trickle down through the company. So that's definitely one thing. We've got a very strong unified core. I think the second thing is we approach email marketing a lot different to a lot of our competitors. There is a lot of aspects of email marketing that are important. Copywriting, design, branding, it's great being able to get the great results by, the deliverability and those things. And those are really, really important for getting good revenue results. But at Underground Ecom, we're not just about revenue, we're about branding, we're about building a relationship with every single customer and subscriber. And so I think that has really allowed us to work with some fantastic brands and help enhance and develop some fantastic brands, because we understand that it's not just about the initial revenue, but it's about the relationship and the CLTV, so the customer lifetime value, by building a strong relationship with them. That's the way we approach all of the marketing that we do here.
Yeah, fair enough. It shows because you've scaled up massively and you're doing well for yourself. You've been running this since 2017 and it's always been remote. And I want to know what's kept you focused and motivated throughout this entire journey, because a lot of people our age, 18 to 21, we want to party, want to live in the moment. What has kept you focused and when watching everyone else, just be teenagers and just act like young, basically just, I don't know, doing whatever they want. What has kept you focused on growing your company?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good question. I'll answer that, and then I've got a question for you off the back of that. So I think for me, what's kept me focused, a couple of things. One is just, I knew when I was at university that I didn't want to spend 3 years learning how to be an accountant and then another 2 years training to be an accountant, and going through that entire process of, 5 years. I knew in 5 years' time, there was so much more I could gain experience-wise by being out in the field. And there was also so much more I had to give than, that. So I think that's a huge part of that, is I knew the traditional route didn't really suit me, and I wanted to move faster than that, to be honest. And I think that's been a huge part of Underground Ecom is, I'm not always, satisfied. I think, once we hit one goal, once we hit one thing, I want the next thing, and I set the next goal very quickly. We've already set, goals for the first quarter of 2021. As soon as those are achieved, I already know what the next goals are. So, goal setting is really important. There's a lot of businesses that grow to a size and then they kind of sustain. And I've seen this with our direct competitors. I think, some of them have been around for years longer than us, but are much smaller than us, and also don't drive the same kind of results because they kind of get to an acceptable level, or what is acceptable to them, and then they kind of stay there. But I think constant self-improvement and constant improvement of the business and key goal setting throughout the whole thing is really, really important. But also, it has been hard. It can be different when you're doing something different to everyone else. And so it's important to surround yourself with people who have the same goal, the same mindset. And that's what I've done in the company, but also through my social media, through my friend groups, through the YouTube videos I watch, the podcasts I listen to. They're all people with a similar mindset, a similar goal, and a similar way of looking. And so that allows you to, I guess, feel part of something rather than feeling like alienated and different and alone to your friend group. So that, at the beginning it was harder. Now I find myself in a position where I'm surrounded by people who think the same as me and want to achieve the same thing. And so it's actually become easier. But yeah, I guess my question back to you is, you're now, I know we've been talking, you're obviously handling the social media here at Underground Ecom, but you have quite big goals of, running a social media marketing agency and growing that. And I know that's something you're in the process of looking at the side. What has made you want to do that rather than, finish your degree and get a job, or, follow the same path as the majority of our friend group, etc.?
Yeah, so I've been at uni. I did my first year, did a sports management course. I didn't do very well, so I changed course, and I've been studying marketing. I really liked it, and then I've had a couple of internships, and I've just learned that I can't work for someone. I think whoever's listening that knows me, and you know me well enough, I can't sit in an office 9 to 5, day in day out, and keep my sanity. Like, I need to move around. I need to speak to people. Like, I
Oh
live.
yeah.
Yeah, I need to be on my feet. I need to be speaking to people. I can't just sit on a desk 9 to 5 and just have the same regime. That's not for me. I want to travel the world. I want to meet people. I want to speak to people. I want to network in different countries. That's what I'm good at. And I know that with just my university degree in marketing, I can't do that. I'll end up, well, I won't necessarily end up with like a 9 to 5 job, but I want to take my own future into my own hands, basically. I want to give it a shot. And I feel like taking the leap to try and start the social media marketing agency is a good leap, because I'm good at what I do with marketing. I'm not going to lie. I'm up to date
Yeah.
with things. I'm good at speaking to people. I'm good at networking, and I'm doing it with one of my friends from uni, and he's actually the same as me, but he's just a businessman. He's not as good as marketing, but his business knowledge, his financial knowledge, and his the way he can network with people as well is great. And we're both so driven to not work a 9 to 5. We're yeah
Important
we're,
that.
we're driven to be free, basically.
Yeah, it sounds the same. I mean, I think the first thing is, I think it's pretty clear that to anyone listening that we both probably have some form of ADHD.
Yeah, I
But
can't sit down. I can't for not for 40 years. That's not me.
but yeah, I think you said it sounds like a similar thing. You've surrounded yourself with someone, you've got a business partner who wants the same thing, and wants to achieve the same goals. That helps so much because you kind of egg each other on. That's the same with me and Jamie when we were at uni. We were living right next to each other, and we kind of egg each other on, and so that's a huge part of it. The other thing, which I think you could probably agree to, is I look at people who have been successful in this space, and I'm like, if he can do it, I know I can do it.
Yeah.
If he can achieve that, and you're, maybe you're even thinking about me, but if he can achieve that, I know what I can do. And I think it's not arrogance, but it's just confidence in knowing that, if you've got the same level of drive, you've got the same level of ambition, you've got the same level of intelligence, there's nothing holding you back from achieving some really fantastic things, especially kind of in the environment that we find ourselves in now.
Yeah, it's definitely nothing to do with you, but the fact that I know someone that can leave uni, like, it's all good seeing the people that quote Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, that they've said they've worked
Yeah,
in a garage and they've built an empire from their mum's closet or whatever. But to see one of my friends actually leave uni and do it and be successful, and it's inspiring to see that someone that, yeah, literally, that can do it.
yeah, definitely. I think it's important to always kind of set your goals and your mentors and the people you're looking to not too far out of sight, because as you said, looking at Bill Gates maybe doesn't really apply to me, because I know I can't necessarily do what he does or whatever, but finding someone who's
Not
just
yet.
just that step, just that step ahead of you, in where you want to go, is really good, because you can kind of just see it and you're chasing it. And if they can do it, you can do it. So yeah, definitely. And I see that every day now, with even with our clients, the people I work with, the people I network with, seeing what they're doing, then seeing what I'm doing, it just really opens up the world of opportunity.
Yeah, and I feel like I know I'm going in the right direction, because it's one of the first times I've been excited to like do work. Like me and my friend always text about it, we're always FaceTime, and we're always trying to like we've started a course as well. We're going through the course together on Zoom calls. We've literally been zooming and building the website together for hours, and like we don't get bored of talking about it. We don't get bored of ideas for it, like who we're going to
Yeah,
contact, what we're doing
Enthu-
next.
enthusiastic is the most important thing. I don't think for the last 4 years there's been a day where I haven't done some sort of work. Maybe it's just checking an email or replying to something or something like that. I've been working for the last 4 years probably without a full day off, at least in my mind. But I don't feel exhausted. I don't feel tired. I don't feel like, when I see those bankers or those people who live in London who work all the time and don't have a social life or anything like that. I don't feel like that. I don't feel exhausted, because the work I'm doing isn't exhausting. It's exciting, and I'm excited to be involved in it. So that gives you unbelievable drive, and also allows you to be able to achieve things you didn't think you could, if the thing you're doing actually gives you energy and gives you excitement and enthusiasm, etc.
Yeah, like I'm happy to juggle. I obviously work the 9 to 5 of my internship, and then evenings I'll do my own thing with my friend, social media marketing agency, and then doing this with you. Even though I enjoy this, like just running social media for you with a friend, just something I'm really just, like engaging with. I'm enjoying it, just having a good old time and learning. I've learned more from the 2 weeks of trying to start a business than I have possibly in my 2 years of doing my marketing degree, which is
Yeah, it's
frustrating, but
crazy
it's
how
also
quick
cool.
you can. Yeah, no, I hear you. It's crazy how quick you can learn by doing, and being involved. It's a bit of a trial by fire. Um, but like the leaps and bounds, I look back every 3 months or 6 months, and I say, like, what did I think 6 months ago? Like, how did I not know? The amount you learn in just 6 months or 3 months or even a month. The amount your business can change. The amount you can develop in that period is actually crazy, in comparison to like what we learned in a full school year. I didn't really I didn't feel that much more enlightened by the end of a school year than I did at the beginning.
No, and you can literally just learn your whole school year in a couple of weeks before your exam and just forget it. And that's that. Like, it's just to pass an exam. Whereas when you're doing a business, you need to remember it day in, day out. You can't just revise how to speak to a client and then forget it the next day and then quickly revise it the night before. Like,
Yeah,
it's,
exactly,
it's stuff
exactly,
it's stuff you've got to remember. And yeah, just I'm excited for what the future holds really with it. Yeah, just really excited about it.
definitely.
But my last question for you, right? I know you're a sporting man. Who's your sporting idol? And you can't say me. And what qualities do you think you share between yourself and that person? Like, what? Who's your role model?
That's a good question. So I can't say you.
Can't say me, and you can't say Bernard either. I know he's quite the egg chaser.
Ah, that's a good question. Who I like, not necessarily from a sporting perspective, is I do like Big James Haskell, because of the way he's been able to develop his career sort of post sport, and the way he's he's kind of bounced out of one thing into the next thing, and I guess what would you call that? But kind of being agile, and redeveloping, relearning skills, etc. And I think he's a really exciting person to be watching. I think he's someone who's going to end up making a lot more of himself post sport, but he's taking the skill sets he learned in sport, the work ethic, the uh, you know the training, all that sort of stuff, and also, you know, the social skills you learn in sport. He's taking that and he's applying it. He's applying it to his own self-development as kind of a, I guess, a celebrity personality. But I think he's going to be very successful because of that. And he's a good laugh as well. But yeah, I think I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah, sports careers are usually short-lived, and it is good to see that some people can adapt afterwards and not just be an athlete. Because I've seen a lot of interviews with athletes and footballers, and they're dry, to be honest, on camera. Like, you've got entertainers trying to speak to them, asking these questions, and all they are is football, or all they are is rugby. But James
Yeah,
Hadfield is a
definitely. But I
personality.
mean, the things you learn from sport.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've cut out, James.
completely. And I think the things you can you still hear me now?
Yeah, no, I can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I think
No
that
worries.
the skills you learn from sport, you know, can really be applied to business and to your own development, because you know your company, your team is just like a sports team, and that's what's so great about playing a team sport like rugby or football or something like that. You know, that's kind of what business is. You know, it's getting the most out of a group of people, you know, to achieve great things that you couldn't achieve by yourself. So yeah, I think even, you know, my very short sporting career at school and university definitely, you know, has aided my business and has aided my social skills. And yeah, it's definitely aided in the development of underground ecom.
Captain Math. Captain
Yeah,
turned gaffer.
exactly. Exactly.
Bosh.
Cool.
Oh, James, it's been great speaking with you, mate.
It's been quality, dude. It's been a great first episode of the podcast. I think, you know, it's been really exciting talking about what we were talking about here about underground ecom. And it's also been awesome, you know, learning about the stuff you're doing outside of the work you're doing here. And yeah, really excited to follow your journey as well.
And I'm excited to hear from you and more of the people that you work with as we go into other episodes.
Awesome. All right, man. Catch you later.
See you in a bit, bro.